It's one thing to say, seize the day. But you really know that you mean it when you wear a leather jacket that says, Carpe Diem. We saw Torque, so you know what that means.
While whipping Justin to Kelly, or maybe see a burlesque show with Nick Crow and take a boat with speed to hitting cruise control. J-Man, Big Paul, and the beautiful June, gonna take you from the groove all the way to the room. Ran the games of Street Fighter, hope to blow off steam, just to sucker punch the odd life for Timothy Green. Sharp needles, birdemic, how we staying alive. They call him the badass, and he's on the line, cranking 88 minutes cause they cool as ice. Cause the bad Jim Varney looking kinda nice. Paul and June getting literal, Jason is getting laid. June is making sure all the monkey shots get paid. They're just a bunch of movies while they're making the grade. Here's a real question for you, how did this get made?
Hello, people of Earth, and hello, people of Los Angeles! We are live here at Largo, our home in LA. It is 4:20. And this is a perfect movie to celebrate this amazing holiday. The film Torque, a film made by the same people who made Fast and Furious. They said we did it with cars, let's do it with motorcycles. They figured it out. Now, when this film was made, in 2004, it did not spawn as many sequels as the Fast and Furious franchise. So sorry. But we do get this film with How Did This Get Made all-star Adam Scott as a FBI agent who might be the best part of the entire movie. But if you've not seen the film, how can I sum it up? Well, it's complex. It's about a guy who likes motorcycles, gets involved in a weird drug thing that he didn't know about, and then leaves to go to Thailand. FBI comes in, they're like, hey, where's that drug guy? No one knows. Then he waits a cool 6 months. Comes back to his hometown. His girlfriend's like, where the fuck were you? And there's some bad guys. We don't know why they're a bad guy, but one of them is Ice Cube. Then there's the drug dealer bad guy. Long story short, our Thailand guy gets framed for a murder he didn't commit. Cops are after him. Both bad guys are after him. And this is the film Torque. I think that's the most succinct way to put it. I'm not sure. Okay, so this movie rules. And I can't wait to break it down, and I can only do it with my co-host. So please welcome to the stage, Mr. Jason Mantzoukas!
What's up, jerks? How we doing, Largo?
Welcome, Jason.
Wow, holy shit.
This movie, I know you love bikes. I know you like hogs, getting on your hog.
You know I do, bro. You know I arrived here on a Kawasaki.
There was an article in a motorcycle magazine.
That you subscribe to.
Of course. Still get the physical media, support physical media. And it was like, even though Torque sucks, here are the 4 greatest scenes. And it's so technical about motorcycles that I couldn't even get through it.
My update for Motorcycle Magazine is, you're wrong. Torque doesn't suck. Give me the Torqueverse.
I believe, and I'm going to put this out here now, that Fast and Furious, it took 5 films for them to figure it out. Torque figured it out day one.
They did. Torque did Fast 5 level stunts in number 1.
Yep.
This shit was nuts. Like, we used to talk about when I can't remember if it was Fast 7 or 8 or one of them where it was like, oh, they're fighting as if their cars are fists.
Yeah.
That happens in this movie. They're fighting as if the bikes are extensions of their bodies, not things that are going 140 miles an hour. And then they're like,
No, I didn't know motorcycles could do this much, but that's why we have a motorcycle expert here. Someone who knows what it's like to ride at 150 miles an hour every single day. And my other co-host, please welcome June Diane Raphael. Welcome, June. How are you?
I'm well. How are you, Paul?
Very good. Thank you for asking.
Good.
June, you like bikes. I know you like bikes.
You're so wrong. I had
Didn't you ask me to ride a bike? Like you,
Paul, I hate motorcycles. I don't believe they have a place on our roads.
fully agree.
They don't. And
Why?
actually, I haven't told Paul this yet, but I'm planning on asking our children to promise us they will never get on a motorcycle.
We have so many regulations and restrictions on what cars have to have as safety features
It's a death wish.
inside of them. But we also allow motorcycles,
It's absurd.
which are just you go as fast as you want, open, just
It's unacceptable.
just on the wheels.
and it's totally
unacceptable.
legal for you to drive in between cars. Like that is expected.
Somebody
really.
did it on my way here last night. I was driving and there was traffic, and somebody was coming through like on the other side, but in my lane because there was traffic on the other side, coming towards me. And I swear to God, I pointed my car right at him. And I was like, no, this is my lane. This isn't for you to cheat on.
Yeah.
I'm
And
realizing-
I killed that guy.
You know what? And I want to bring out our guests next, but that's where I struggle with motorcyclists or cyclists or bikers or motorcyclers. But because I'm just like, I know you have a death wish. And I don't know what to say to you about that. Like, I don't know why you don't like this life. But
Why are you in such a hurry to end it?
Yeah, like, why do you want to die so bad?
I will say this. I just realized right now, I rode motorcycles as a kid on the back of motorcycles because my...
Wow, as a
What?
kid, you had access to horses and motorcycles?
Yeah. They're the same thing. One just has wheels, the other have hooves.
Thank you. Thank you for breaking that down for
You know,
us. For those who might be confused.
motorcycles are the horses of now.
A lot of people listening to the pod saying to their partner, "See, I told you."
But I'm realizing that my
mean?
stepfather would always tell me that when he got into a motorcycle accident, he had a peg leg. And I never drilled down on that until this minute. That's not possible. He didn't have a peg leg. He said he had a peg leg under his leg. Like it was like they had recovered, like he got to a motorcycle accident, lost his leg, and then reskinned it. And I'm realizing now...
Only now?
that I never questioned it since I was a child. Like I was like, peg leg. It didn't come up in my mind until this very
So have
moment.
you ever told a story prior to now about your stepfather's false
Peg leg.
peg
No.
leg, as you call it?
Yeah.
Was he a pirate?
He always said it was a peg leg, and he would try to make me feel the...
Careful, babe.
Paul,
Careful.
bone.
Paul,
Let's
wherever
keep it
this
light. Let's keep it light. It's a Thursday night.
wherever this
Let's
is
keep
going,
it light.
whatever epiphany you're about to have, don't
yeah,
have it on
let's
stage.
do it off stage. Babe, let's do it off stage.
Whatever repressed memory is about to happen, let's do it in the green room after the show, my guy.
All I'm saying is, if I told you that story, a 60% chance it was false, that he had a peg leg. I still want to drill down. I want to talk to the doctors. Now, I mentioned earlier it's 420, and we wanted to have the perfect 420 guest. We also wanted to have a perfect guest that knows everything about action movies. You know him from his podcast, High and Mighty, and the Action Boys. Please welcome Jon Gabrus!
Vroom, vroom, bitch.
Vroom, vroom. Welcome, John. Welcome. Now, June said earlier, Jason, you're going to get a lot of Long Island on stage, and you're looking at a Long Island block right here.
That's
John,
right.
Block
June,
Island,
and I.
if
This
you
is
will.
it, Block Island, Strong Island.
Yeah, it's great to be together, you know.
Yeah, it's nice that we're not fighting on the Long Island Railroad.
It is.
John, you have seen this film.
I have seen Torque, of course.
So you
Of
saw
Torque.
Torque. You saw Torque before this podcast.
I saw Torque before this podcast. Yeah, Torque oversold itself pretty hard, if I remember correctly. I remember being like, fuck, Torque is back.
Yeah, well, Torque is
It's just saying, Torque is like a word. I remember this movie coming out and me learning what Torque was. It's like stigmata. It wasn't until the movie came out that I was like, what does that mean? And someone explained it. I was like, oh, that's cool.
The movie Stigmata or Passion of the Christ?
Passion. I guess I'm talking about the time my dad's hands and feet started bleeding. Then he explained Stigmata. He's like, it's actually a movie if that'll help you learn it. Put it on. He was like a substitute teacher. He walked away.
I do think that Torque is not a great name.
Terrible name.
Yeah, it's
If
not.
it wasn't called Torque, there would be 9 of them.
I do
I
want
know,
to
and like, why call it Torque?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to define.
I can't believe it's not called Carpe Diem with car spray painted
Can
out.
I? Incredible. Can I tell you, it wasn't until 45 minutes into the movie that I noticed his jacket said Carpe Diem. And I just about lost my mind. I was like, now we're cooking.
When he did his first hero shot and I saw it, I was like, wait, is that a joke? Wait, this has to be a joke. I mean,
Well,
you
he can't
have-
wear it for the rest of them. He can?
He can.
He did.
By the way, torque is the measure of force that can cause an object to rotate about an axis. So is that just...
So, like, the way I think of torque is you're pulling something back before you're letting it go, and that, whatever that is, that amount of pressure is the torque. Does
They-
that
circling
sound
it
about
there.
right?
They-
Again,
wait,
someone-
Is there a torque expert?
Does any... All right, okay, I'm going to
here.
go...
Open
I'm
up
gonna
the
right
torque
here.
books to page 42.
I'm gonna go
A
and
torque
talk
spurt?
to our torque
Is there
spurt.
a torque spurt?
All right, we have a
There's
torque
just like
spurt. Oh, sorry.
a guy in like orange leathers that says Carpe Diem. I guess ask him. He speaks Latin.
Ladies and gentlemen, Martin Henderson is here. Martin,
Oh
us-
shit! He parked my car.
torque and motorcycles, how do they relate?
It's rotational force. So with motorcycles, because there's a enormous amount of power versus a small wheel with direct power, you can take off very fast. That's why assholes take off off the line really quickly. Also, people in Teslas.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
What's your name? David? Give it up for David, everybody.
David knows torque.
That's how you answer a
right.
question. Informative, succinct. Didn't
Love it.
try and grab the mic.
Well, we know this movie is going to be about motorcycles because the first thing that we see is this little...
Do you think that this
I did
was...
not notice that.
Did you think that all of the anti-car stuff was purposefully trying to start a beef with Fast and Furious?
Well, I don't know, but why then name your main character Ford?
Great question.
Wow. But it does feel like this movie is coming at you from a place that we aren't sharing. It's like, you see these cars pull up and you're like, oh shit, it's a car movie. It's like, nope, fooled you. The sign says cars suck. Fuck you. We've all thought it. And we're like, no, we
I never
haven't.
thought it.
Like, it's coming so aggressive at you that, like, finally, this is a movie about motorcycle and motorcycle problems. But we don't, I feel like they could have brought us into this world a little bit nicer. Like, hey,
Nope.
no.
No, they drop you in like hard. And not only that, it first says, okay, it seems as though the central competition of the movie is going to be cars versus bikes.
Sure.
No.
There's the bikers who are on the road, and the cars are like, fuck you. And they're like, ha, we're the bikers. But then it's just, the cars go away entirely. Then it's just a movie about motorcycles that go anywhere.
I don't know where this movie takes place. And the
I
fact-
was shocked when they said LA because I thought for sure Florida. I thought there's no way we are not in Florida.
Most of this movie is shot between here and Morongo.
There's a moment where they're
Right?
just like, I feel like there's a moment where they're straight up in the Dominican Republic, and then they're all of a sudden by Dodger Stadium. I'm like, wait.
That's just how good this movie is.
That's how fast motorcycles are. If you're going 160 miles an hour, you can be to and from the Dominican Republic in a heartbeat, bro.
Well, you're right about this. Like these car guys, we know car guys are bad because the first thing we see them do is try to beat a child. Like I know there's save the cat, but here it's like save the kid. Where
Well,
like
even
he's like,
before that, if you don't, just in the opening scene where you just saw the cars, like the cars are drag racing, Fast and Furious style.
Yes.
The movie is truly a fuck you to the Fast and Furious movies.
made
because-
by the Fast and Furious people.
Neil Moritz, producer of both. Incredible stuff. But the guys are fighting. They even have like NOS injectors, and they're doing all of the Fast and Furious mechanics.
Yeah.
And then the motorcyclists come in and are like, eat shit. And the people in cars are just dismissed.
Well,
You know,
throughout
it's like-
this movie, we find the first interactions that most people have with each other is absolutely antagonistic.
Yes. At a level that is like 150%.
The inciting incident of the whole movie is a guy drives a motorcycle past another guy on a motorcycle. And it's like, that was so fast, I'm going to eventually frame this guy for my death.
I will say that maybe it is about being on a motorcycle. Your body's shaking so much, you've unscrewed something in your brain. You're just
think there's
running that
something to
anger.
that,
You're like,
Bob.
yeah, you're constantly mad. Your
I
body's shaking.
imagine that if you're on a motorcycle that much, like when you get off, you're still always living with the sensation of moving 150 miles an hour.
Well, there's
like
also-
you can never settle down.
For sure. And there's also an element which is present in the movie. I feel like this whole movie is asking the question, what if rap rock was a movie?
Oh.
This feels like
What
Made
if-
it the most unfortunate time in American history.
Right? And
the
if-
year I graduated college where aesthetics disappeared for 1 year and they were like, you know what? People like garbage.
Yeah.
It's movie's not old enough to be cool and it's not new enough to look good. It like lands in this period of time where you're like, really? Janko khakis. Okay.
and you also like it does feel like we talked about a film credit in the last episode about like suggested by. This feels like suggested by Kid Rock's dream. Like it feels like he's like, yeah, and then they kill him with a motorcycle thing, and an FBI guy, he's in on it too. And then they're on top of a train and it's heroin and fuck boom, everybody
Okay,
fucking blows up,
but-
put GoPro cameras in their faces.
But Paul, I do want to try to understand a little bit more about what the basic plot of this movie is.
Great.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay.
What do you
Just
think it is?
Take a step back. Well, I have a lot to say about Shane's business. Shane's, because from what I understand,
Shane is the love interest, right?
yes,
Yes.
of course.
I wanna ask
Sha-
about this, too.
Yeah, I have some questions about her business. But Shane had a shop, Shane's.
It seemed like an outdoor flea market.
No, that's not the
That's
shop.
not it.
That's just at the bike rally. That's her tent at the bike rally that
That's
appears
like a
to
pop-up.
just appears
It's like
to
an
have
activation, like a brand
glass
activation.
glass shelves, each with one single rear view mirror.
Well,
She went to the car festival with 5 rearview mirrors and a pistol.
Like the set design for her tent was bananas.
well, this movie is, especially in the beginning, mostly shot through rear view mirrors. It's everybody has a rear view mirror. Let's only do reflection shooting.
So at the bike show, retailers have paid, I'm sure, some sort of participation fee to be there.
Sure,
Right?
of course.
Okay, so then they sort of show their wares and,
Show their wares.
I assume she's there to take care of bikes. Correct?
I think she's there to sell people parts for
Rear
their
view
bikes.
mirrors, because a lot of rear view mirrors are getting knocked off by motorists, I
Okay,
imagine.
so you're saying that at Shane's store proper, what is the business? She is doing
That's what I can't
there?
figure out.
I
Well-
assumed it was like she was a
Selling
mechanic and selling parts.
You guys are saying this movie is confusing. You're saying there's only one Torque. I can't believe it. This is technically Torque 4.
What are you talking
How do you
about?
mean?
Watch this movie. When you watch this movie, they talk about so much shit that is
yes.
already
You're
happened.
absolutely right. The
That
entire
Yes.
is not
movie
at all.
is
That is so important to this. It's like, well, remember I went to Thailand because you got raided
For those
because I
6
had.
months.
And
You're right.
They're talking about shit that happened a long time ago.
Gabrus,
And then this is what
hate-
they're dealing with actively in this.
You're
This movie is like,
right.
all right, everyone back from vacation.
Let's
sort
talk
out
about
the
it.
meth
Let's-
bike
Like,
shit.
like
all
you
right?
would be like in the theater, people like,
right.
oh shit, Martin's back, or you know, or
I
whatever.
feel like, and
Oh.
I hate to correct you, but it was Indochina,
I just want to also
which
say
is used multiple times.
But
in
I
this
did
movie.
really feel like, wow, would love to see some of that.
Well, that
you're
to me-
talking about
that
over and
to me
over.
felt great. Like, oh, there's a history here that will unfold. Nope.
Never does.
Because
So-
without seeing any of that history, the bad guy gang is so bad for
That's
no
insane.
reason.
Okay, so here's my question though, Gabrus. So Ford, what has he done? He was sort of fooled by.
Ford
I can tell
was
you,
told to watch some motorcycles, and he had a nice relationship, and then he's like,
And
hey,
he worked where at that time?
I think.
That's my question. Where did he work?
Oh, I think he's just a freelance motorcycle
Yeah.
guy.
So he just
He's
did
all
this-
1099. I
Okay,
think his
he's a
podcasting supports
contractor?
him at the time.
Got it.
Yeah.
So basically, he got the.
So he's just doing this for a friend because he misjudged his character? Because
Correct.
that makes Ford look like a fucking idiot.
Oh, let's
He's
be
an
clear.
idiot.
Every single person in this movie is a stone cold moron. Full stop.
Like,
Well,
why
They
not?
don't notice any of the setups, none of the double crosses. They don't even notice an obvious frame job when they see it.
It's just so wild, though, to not give him any stakes to have done that. Not that Shane is not at risk. He
like
just
you would have liked it
randomly
if he
watched
was
the
maybe
wrong
dealing
guys
drugs on the side, and he made a mistake. He got in over his
to
head.
pay for someone's health care. I needed something
well, basically,
to
all he
latch
did
on
was
to.
he was told to watch some motorcycles. He's like, huh.
Didn't question it.
I wonder why. Then he opens up like the gas cap and he's like, ugh, meth or heroin, whatever it was. And he's like, oh shit, let me get that out of here and then let me leave town. Like,
And I'll leave this in my girlfriend's shop.
That's
I'll
fucked
say
up.
nothing.
That's
Move to
fucked up.
Southeast Asia in a country TBD. While I'm gone, shop gets raided. Sheen turns against me. Nothing happens to the bad guy.
And but also nothing happens to Shane, which is his excuse for why he took off, which is not to bring all of that down on her. Like what?
But these
because
bikes are never found. It sounds like
at the end of the movie,
They
they're
are.
found.
No, they are,
Oh,
but I'm saying, like,
sorry. No, they're
yeah.
not. You're right. They're not.
Yeah.
He's hidden them because he realizes they've got drugs in them. He realizes that makes him look suspicious to Adam Scott's FBI. Is he FBI?
he is FBI. He's gang task force. If you want to see his introduction,
Oh, please.
Adam's introduction is kind of the best moment here. Adam, by the way, kills it in this movie. He's very good.
Amazing.
He's bringing it.
He's in the movie. I wish everybody else was in.
right.
I know.
You know what I mean? I wish everybody else was in the
Him
movie.
and Justina, the both of
Yeah.
them
Oh, I'm
together
sorry. Yes,
were
their stuff.
I wanted to watch their scenes.
Yes, 100%.
you know.
They are tuned to the right frequency for this movie in a way that nobody else but maybe Cube is. You know what I mean?
And I
It's
want to
true.
get into Cuba's in a second. Not his performance, but his character. Here we go.
Agent McPherson, Federal Gang Task Force.
You don't look like your typical Fed.
What'd you expect? A cheap suit, late model Taurus, a $10 haircut?
How'd y'all get here so fast?
Get this many jacked up motorheads in one
Spoiler.
place, all wearing colors. Something's bound to happen. Pays to be close. Oh, this is Agent Henderson.
John Doe.
Don't let her good looks fool you. She's still one of the
Hold
best
on.
field operatives
When you
I
see
have.
her come on, I was like, did she step out of the Matrix Reloaded?
There's a bunch of Matrix shit throughout this movie. The final motorcycle chase through the streets of New York City?
That, by the way, seems like
Wait.
yeah.
Or where are they? They're not in New York City.
They're
in Los
still
Angeles.
in
Downtown
LA.
But
yeah.
it looks too busy for downtown LA.
Absolutely.
It's crazy that this movie takes place in LA, and I think the craziest part is when the bad guy says, like, we've got $1 million in there. And I'm like, bro, that can't even buy you a house here.
I
You're like killing people over $1 million worth of crystal meth. Fuck, dude, you got to go to Torrance.
I don't even know.
Torkins.
I don't even know where they're finding their industrial factories to have their rave, because that seems to also be centrally located. Like
I think because
they have a race to her house, which looks like it's so suburban. Like, oh, are we in Ohio now? And he's like, I'll buy you a drink. And now we're in a fucking rave where literally like hot lava or like steel is being smelted on some level, because I'm seeing
the other
big
thing
sparks.
that's when they're at in the first act, when they're at the like Sturgis style bike rally or whatever, and everybody's racing up and down and peacocking and showing off. The radio person, the DJ, at one point says, "We're gonna have highs from 94 to 103." Can you imagine how bad that place smelled? Disgusting.
Imagine drinking out of the leg of the Carpe Diem leather pants.
Oh.
Just the fucking
disgusting.
Shake the fucking groin sweat out of your Carpe Diem.
And you know they're smelling it because every man speaks to the other man no more than 4 inches apart. There's a rule. It's like if you are more than 4 inches away from each other, gotta close that gap. It's like people are in each other's mouths.
At the Sturgis thing, how great Henderson has a Ramones t-shirt on. He has like a Hot Topic Ramones shirt. It's like this dude, if he's 25 in 04, is not into the Ramones in the biker world? No.
Absolutely not. No.
He
Also,
learned about the Ramones in Indochina.
Is there a biker culture in LA?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. I didn't know about
Absolutely
that.
right.
I didn't know about that.
Well, I do have a question about because when Ice Cube's gang rolls up on Ford, why is he mad at him?
Okay, so that is
That's a great
the entire
question.
inciting incident.
This is crazy.
He drives past Junior, Cube's brother, too fast.
Okay.
And kind of shakes him and knocks him off the bike. And he's like, God damn it. Chases him down.
Yeah.
Pulls a fucking knife on him. We get to see a cool reflection in the knife.
Great
eyes
shot.
are like
Great
mirror.
shot.
If there's anything that can reflect, we will shoot through it. That's it.
I will say the movie's shot well.
Yes.
This guy
they shot the shit out of this movie because I was never confused. I was so confused about the plot of the movie, but I was never confused geographically where people were. I was never confused as to what was happening, who was where.
Only at the end when the motorcycle is going 150 or maybe 500 miles an hour. At that point
when it
I was
turned
like, I don't
into
know
a
what
cartoon.
happened.
Well,
At
when you
that
have
point-
the phrase Rolls Royce, helicopter, jet, those are 3 different things. And they're like, it's carbon chassis built on a Rolls Royce helicopter jet engine. It's like, what, dog?
There was also so much, actually way too much tongue acting in this movie. Everybody had their tongues out and was communicating with their tongues.
It was 2004.
No, it did feel like that.
It was when tongue rings were new and everybody was like,
You're
tongues
right.
are a thing.
It was a time when people were like, I'll take my tongue out. It was... There wasn't a stigma around it.
I mean, we've now seen 2 really amazing performances by Jamie Presley. Jamie Presley
she was freaky. She scared the shit out of me in this movie. I was like, this woman, I do not want to meet her.
She threaded a perfect needle for me in that she terrified me and aroused me simultaneously.
By
By the way, at the end when her and... What is the woman's name who's playing Chase? Monet Mazur?
That's what it is. Yes.
I was like, when that came up, I was like, oh, must be a French-trained actor I've never heard of or whatever.
No, when they do ballet-based like fight sequence on top of motorcycles, I was like, this is everything.
Yeah.
I feel like the filmmakers were like, we're doing Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon
sponsored by Mountain Dew.
On motorcycles, sponsored by PepsiCo.
Oh, man, and a little Budweiser. Budweiser got a few bottles broken over people's heads, but with like a freeze frame label.
The king of beers.
All I wanted to do, and I looked for it all day today, was to find breakaway bottles because the amount of littering they do in this movie
It's actually unacceptable.
like they always are just
I know.
throwing.
That scene where Ford and Shane are on that little playground, at that little playground area, he just finishes a bottle of beer and throws it down on the ground.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, aren't they at a children's park?
They are.
Wild.
They're throwing it down
Wild.
by a
Children's
pool.
park makes you sound like an alien who just take me to the children's park.
area, not a playground, a children's park.
That seems to be a playground. I'm looking for a children's park.
A park for them and them only.
By the way,
With
what
things
was
for them to do.
There was a moment where they're eating, and again, I think this is a movie about bike culture, made by people who don't know bike culture, because
You don't think so? I also think this is a movie about gun culture that they don't understand how guns work because they precision fire sawed-off shotguns at people to be able to like break their handcuffs apart. A sawed-off shotgun blast at close range would demolish your whole body. It's a scatter shot
It
weapon.
would blow their hands off.
Literally, they're like, bam! We're like, okay, thank you so much. They would blow their arms off. Everybody in the movie would be dead.
This movie suffers from G.I. Joe / A-Team rules.
Yes.
Where they're like, everyone's firing machine guns and guns, but the combat always just ends up being like nudging each other off a bike at the end. Like, there's literally a line where he's like, meet the twins, and
Do
fires.
you guys see the spider descending from the ceiling? Of course. 420 Long Island. That stays here.
don't say a word.
If people say, what did Gabrus do? You don't say a goddamn thing about the fact that he ate a spider? Hey, I heard you were at that show where Gabrus died afterwards.
Well,
Bro.
first of
What
all,
happened?
I'm not allowed to say anything, but on the Reddit, they're wondering why Gabrus mysteriously died.
Dude, that was straight up Henry James,
So-
man. That was crazy, like Henry James.
So all I saw, so many things just happened in my body. So many things.
It
all
looked
I
like he was
saw-
going to kiss it first.
I did not see the spider first. I just saw Gabrus go. Like his eye line was over here, and I was like, "Well, one of you have come on stage and are about to."
I've been
end
watching it for a
us."
while,
Okay,
so
thank
you were-
But
you
I
were
was
safe.
like, "Wow, this is it, June. Like this is how you'll die." And then to see a spider, and then to see what happened next. Wow.
I just wanted to protect my fellow cast
And I
members.
appreciate
Wow.
that. That's some Long Island protection right there. A+. Let me talk about.
I
Let me
can't wait
talk
till
about-
the end of the show and Gabrus's tongue has swollen.
When I fall down, my head splits open and a million baby spiders come running out.
When someone's like, Jason, do you have your EpiPen? I think Gabrus needs it.
I will say.
Carpe Diem. Carpe Diem.
I do want to say, and I feel badly about this, that spider did pay for the VIP experience, and now he got to refund it. Let's talk about the diner scene, because I want to. Maybe my head went to a place that you didn't go to, which is one of the people in the Good People's crew says, "Oh, I need some paint and body work." Does that mean she needs like shit and do her makeup? Like when she said, "I need to do some paint and
don't
body
know.
work."
Don't look
like,
at
is that
me.
what
I don't
bikers
know.
say?
It might be
don't
like
know.
makeup touch-up. It would be my guess. Yeah.
Paint I got was like, I'm gonna powder my nose, and then like
I gotta empty the gas tank.
Yeah, because it was like body work felt like I need some paint and body work. I was like, shit and do makeup, and I kind of want to get that in the lexicon. So I got to do some paint and body work now.
Sorry I'm late. I had to do some body work.
The Good Guy crew vacillates between being 10 years old about girls and sex to 40 years old about girls. They're like, oh, you got a girlfriend. Then later on, it's like, she's probably the one who's responsible for you being on time. And it's like, they vacillate completely. It's like, dude, let me get 10 more minutes with her, please, man.
Oh yeah,
It's like,
and
how old are you guys?
I don't
and
know, but
she's
he
wearing
also-
a motorcycle helmet. So how are they kissing? How are they doing anything? I would imagine one.
Paul, you don't always have to kiss.
That's true. But then they were they were all under the sheets so much that I feel like he may get a concussion. Just like there's maneuvering
That's why
out.
you wear
You
the
know what?
helmet.
I thought about it too, Paul, and where I went was like she put the helmet on when she thought he was gonna leave. Like, wait.
Oh, okay.
I know what'll get him back here.
Yes.
Well,
That's what I had.
Fast
I
and the
had to make
Furious
sense of it.
and this movie do it too. They like presuppose some idea of the male gaze where it's like, dude, chicks with fucking wrenches and driving fast, nothing hotter. And it's like,
Oh yeah,
they
that's
have like a
Transformers
power.
too. Transformers too. Michael Bay thinks like the hottest woman is a woman under a hood, in like crop tops.
Yeah, this movie has like a foreplay on motorcycles where it's like, oh, we're gonna ride through town together, and it's like they never sit on the same motorcycle, like except for a brief moment, which would be a traditionally romantic thing. But instead, it's like race 1 billion miles an hour through like Chinatown, terrorizing the citizens, and that gets us both juiced up and ready to rock.
Well, I wonder if they were going to have a weregasm, because that was a piece of graffiti I saw in that bathroom where the man is choked out multiple times. Weregasm. And it was spelled like W-E-A-R-gasm. So like, what was a weregasm?
Well, I think that's
Orgasm.
or it's suggesting that you wear the clothing line gasm.
Or like, oh my God, I love your outfit. I just had a weregasm. Like, or this outfit's so hot, I just had a weregasm.
I think it's every full moon someone is half orgasm, half human.
Well, I personally was uncomfortable with how Ford was treating Shane's business, because when they were in that diner, he made a comment about how it was wonderful to date a woman who could take care of herself as she got up to pay the check for him and all of his friends. I found it to be very distressing. He just doesn't seem. That's why I did ask where he worked.
Oh no, he's a loser. But make no mistake, everyone's a loser in this movie.
I guess
But,
what
like,
I'm
he
just
didn't
trying to
even say-
understand is what is his trade, though? Like, I understand, and
Racing.
Motorcycles.
But
Yeah, he doesn't explain what he does in Thailand.
Just what does
like
he
wasn't like,
do?
yeah, I was there for 6 months. Well, how'd you pay the bills?
Doesn't he
Ask
say
Sex worker.
Doesn't he say
Sex
he competed
worker,
in a
American
race?
sex.
Does he say he competed in a race there? Or something?
No, I don't think
no?
so.
Okay.
I think he says he competed in a kumite there.
I would love that. Kumite, 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 kumite.
I will also say that I like that people are constantly surprised when motorcycles pop into frame, as if motorcycles can sneak up on anyone. Like, oh, hey, what are you doing here? Didn't see you roll up on your motorcycle.
They also are able to, at one point, when Ice Cube and his gang are chasing them in like the desert, in like I don't know where they are, but in the desert, they're really close, and then somehow our crew, the hero crew, disappears on them.
And I
They
couldn't
hide
tell.
in a sewer.
They hide
That's
in
why, Jason, when you were like, I understood the geography of every shot, I'm like, I didn't know where they were. I had no
What made
idea
no sense
where they
to me,
were.
though, was like, can they really not see? They're on dirt. Can they not see the trail of their tires?
Well, this whole okay, Jason, you touched on something that bothered me about the whole movie. It's so fun. There's a lot of exciting set pieces, but so much of the chase makes no sense. It's like, yo, Cube, don't go on top of the train. Ride next to the train and see what he does. Cube, do not go in opposing traffic. Do not jump this ramp. I think you can eyeball him.
Yeah. I mean,
You don't have to be right behind him like, fuck it, we're going directly into the volcano. Well, you're not getting away from me. I'm eventually gonna physically fight you hand to hand.
this is what Ice Cube is up to on his bike is the fucking funniest. This is Ice Cube on a normal ride. Now watch what he does. Watch how he has a phone, everything. Here. First of all, phone,
sticks to his
magnet.
Just heard on scanner they spotted the whiteboard. Dawson's Creek, the whiteboard. All right, give me a map.
Give me a map.
Time.
Gets the map. Hands off the bike. Map fully extended. Folds the map up, gives it back, and then it's off. He's also wearing a motorcycle helmet, traveling very fast, and having a phone conversation on I guess maybe the magnet phone had to
Mere
exist?
moments after this, he's riding with his whole gang. I'm saying 24 guys, right? Mere moments later, they're all shoulder to shoulder pissing on the side of the road.
So many questions
If
about
you're
that.
gonna piss, if you're gonna pull over and have a pee break, got it, I get it. But do you all stand shoulder to shoulder to do it? That seems like a wild choice.
Well, let's talk about the logistics of what they do, because when the inciting incident that gets Junior to want to fight Ford, they're having a barbecue 4 feet off the side of Death Valley Highway or whatever. They're literally right, like, we're like, oh yeah, we should just pull over here and grill. It's 125 degrees. We'll just post up right here. And later on they say, stay out of Compton. And I'm like, you guys are from Compton? You just hang out in the desert in the sun?
But that's what I'm saying. There's caves. There's downtown LA. There's everything.
There's
like
a fucking cave.
There's
They're
caves.
in a cave. They're hiding
caves.
in a cave. They spend the night
That
in
they
a
seem
cave.
to know about.
Yes.
They
Yes.
seem to know where all the weird hidey holes are. Again, between here and Morongo. I don't even think these guys, that's the thing is, these guys aren't even going to Sturgis. They're going to like a bike rally at Morongo.
Yeah.
Like they're just in the desert, that's it.
So just to talk through the urination scene for another minute. So you think they all did have to go? And I don't know about this actually, but I don't know that if called upon to go right now, I could.
But
I
if
feel
you-
like
but-
Get a chant going, folks.
But
Edit this part out. June pisses on the stage. Whoa, she could do it. Holy shit.
Or weirder, it's in the
But-
episode.
and
Don't
all
cut it.
spiders come out. Really weird.
I stopped listening to How Did This Get Made when they
wow.
started doing pissing on the show.
Well, but I think of it more like
I think
when you're on a road
20
trip.
men in that
Yeah.
line.
What?
See, that's the
There
thing.
were
It's like
20
2,000
men in the.
Well, I think it's like when you're
urinating
on
them.
like a road trip, like when we all go on a road trip with the kids, I'll be like, well, we're stopping, so everyone just go to the bathroom. Like, even if you don't think you have it, you might. And that's what I
Right,
always
that
say.
was
And
the
then they do.
conversation.
They
You don't
always
want to
do.
be the new guy in the Reapers going, I know you just stopped, but I have to go now.
Or the guy that
nice.
everybody's like, hey, how come you're not pissing? Hey, how come you're not pissing?
Okay,
Hey, that
okay.
guy's not pissing over there.
Right. So
This guy's not getting enough fluid. That's the cool
Hey,
thing
are
about the
you
Reapers.
dehydrated?
They're all about hydration. Ice Cube is like, guys, if you're gonna be in this gang, we're in a lot of hot weather, so you gotta hydrate.
I don't want anybody getting dry, cracked lips. I want everybody here fully hydrated.
right.
Well, the pissing thing, the map thing, the movie threads this weird tonal needle where it's like it's trying to be a comedy at points, but not in a pithy way. It has like funny moments,
Yeah.
But
Yes.
all of the fucking like one-liners are just clam city, just like
Yeah.
it's a,
Well, until Dane Cook arrives.
And there we go.
At which point, this movie crushes comedians.
Now, by the way,
you know you're in a desperate spot if Dane Cook shows up in a movie and you go, ooh, okay, all right, this
But
thing's got
this-
some fucking legs now.
Yeah, let's see what's happening here.
this feels to me like a moment where they're like, okay, it's not in the script. Dane Cook's super hot. Let's give him $5 million. He'll crush. And this will be, it'll make everything great. Like,
Oh, it reeks of like a producer's like, I'm actually kind of friends with Dane Cook's manager. And
He
people are
wants
like,
to-
he's not going to do this. He's like, let me talk to him.
We'll
He
write
wants
him
to do
anything.
something like this, he said.
we'll write him a scene. He'll love
So
it.
when I saw Dane Cook appear, I was actually like, oh, I bet they shot way more with him, which then made me even more confused because I was like, wow, I bet they threaded him through this entire, they had a plan for him that was like, you're going to appear here, he's going to come back here.
Yeah,
That
and
would
his
be amazing.
callback
Oh.
moment is even softer than his like,
doesn't-
debut.
Well, his
No,
callback
to
moment
me-
is weird because he arrives on a motorcycle and leaves in a car.
Well, because
he
he's
gets
been
roasted
humiliated.
so hard. He's like, I'll take a car instead.
So
He is what us fucking hogheads, that's what they call us, motorcycle people. We're like, we fucking see these Dane Cooks out there. They're like, we see these Dane Cooks out there all the time, buying nice, sweet fucking bikes. They don't know a goddamn
Is that what
thing.
hogheads call him?
Oh,
Dane
yeah.
Cooks?
Yeah.
well, they
Oh,
show-
I got a
it's
Dane
po-
Cook coming.
It's pointed that they show his like sneakers trying to put
Yes.
the kickstand
Yes.
down.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like the wackest thing you could wear is sneakers on a motorcycle.
He's not
And he
even wearing
doesn't
a
even
Carpe
know where his
Diem
kickstand
jacket.
is. He can't find it. What's really funny about that to me, though, is like it's a scene that is comedic forward, so much so that like he comes up to, what's the bad guy's name?
I think
Henry
that's-
James.
Yeah.
The author, Henry James.
Henry James.
Well, it's Henry James Ford.
I was like, oh my God,
Henry
that's
James
funny too.
Ford.
It was really weird. Anyway,
Famous Nazi.
So Henry James, who is truly an unrepentant evil guy,
And
right?
also a cast member of Fast and the Furious.
Oh, I didn't
What?
know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who?
He's Vince in Fast and the Furious. The guy who turns on them in 5.
What?
Am I
Yeah.
right here or am I bugging out?
He's right.
Yeah.
I'm mortified I didn't know that.
And
So he's terrible. He's like that mustache twirliest bad guy, right? Dane Cook arrives and is like, "Hey, can we get a picture with you?" He's on his bike. The bad guy's on his bike. They're like, "Can we get a picture of you guys for our internet thing?" And then hard cut to
they're taking
the picture.
They're
They got
willing
off
to
of their
do it.
bike, They walked to the edge where the water is behind them for a good picture. Like they
Listen,
participated.
it's
in
always
this.
nice to have your picture taken.
By the way, this looks like at a kid's
Okay,
quinceanera.
this is incredible.
Yeah, it's another children's park.
There's bubbles. There's a piñata. There's balloons. This is fucked up.
Look
I
how
don't
close their motorcycle is parked to like where they're. Well, imagine being at a party and there's like a guy on the grill and you have your tire a foot away from him, revving the fucking engine. There's a kid playing piñata feet from the motorcycle.
If they were to like the exhaust is so close to everybody.
All those kids are in a class action mesothelioma lawsuit now.
I still don't understand why they even show up here. Again, the geography of where the bikes are just ending up everywhere. The bikes are
Well,
just
it's like Fast and Furious with cars. If the riders are anywhere, they have to be on their bike.
I mean, but this seems like
Right.
why a children's party? It's not crucial to the plot.
I was shocked they didn't commit the murder in the red bathroom on motorcycles. It would be better.
Use a motorcycle part.
was used.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, the
like a
detective work,
fingerprint.
the detective work on that,
Incredible.
Like, someone was like, and the way that they'll get out of the crime is that every motorcycle chain is like a fucking fingerprint.
And
High
these-
five, Control Alt Save. No more work today, buddy. 4-day weekend for us, motherfucker. Bye bye.
And these
Did your coke guy come yet?
These fucking guys, they're so dumb. The whole gang is so dumb. And the way they figure out that the chain is like a fingerprint, and then one of them goes, like a fingerprint. And the other one goes, yeah, like a fingerprint.
Try not to move your mouth when you're thinking. Yeah. There's like 50s roasts to each other. It's like, well, someone's a Kraut friend. You're like, what?
Let's go to the audience and talk to you about what you might have seen here. Questions, answers, and I want to hear also what you think your motorcycle gang name might be. If you were to roll with a crew, like the Reapers, obviously, is there anyone out here that has a good question, something, an observation? All right, sir, your name, your motorcycle gang name, and your question.
Oh, God, that's a lot. My name's Ian. I'll go with Detective John Kimball.
Okay, that would be your motorcycle gang name.
Absolutely.
Detective John Kimball, ride out.
Okay.
Circle up, Detective John Kimball.
And not even plural. It's singular. Which
Who do
I
you
like.
ride for? Detective John Kimball. And it's 200 members strong.
All right, and your question.
Well, it's not really a question, it was an observation.
Great.
Feel like...
Is it an explanation, I hope?
I hope so. Doesn't it just feel like the Nickelback of Fast and Furious movies?
Nickelback is the closing credit theme.
Amazing.
He said that was amazing. All right, yeah, over here. Yes, come over. Can you come closer? There we go. All right, your name, your motorcycle gang name, and you can't take Detective John Kimball. That's taken. All right, and your question.
My name is Melissa, and I got to come up with a new one, I guess. Missy G.
Missy G. Again, these are very singular names.
I think people are giving themselves nicknames in the motorcycle gangs rather than naming their gang like what they would be on their cut.
Right. Yeah, okay. By the way,
that's
it works.
fine, but
it
it's
works.
still good.
And your observation or question, whatever you have.
Sure. So when they were on top of the train and then came off the train conductor didn't try and stop until like feet from Ice Cube, and then it just kept going?
I had a question about this too, because the motorcycles are riding on the train track 50 feet in front of the train for a long time, and at no point does that train slow down.
You gotta assume the conductor is just like, do. Here I am, driving my train. Then he sees a motorcycle first come in front. Then another drops from above. At that point, you got to hit the brakes.
Well, listen.
He
it's-
finally puts down snoot at that point.
Maybe it's the same thing they always say that car drivers, like, we actually don't see motorcycles. Like, we don't see them on the road. We are trained to look for cars.
And you're definitely not trained to look for cars or motorcycles if you're on a train track in the desert. Where is this train going to and coming from? Because when they go inside it, there are commuters.
I'm sorry,
there.
you mean
there are people like
you mean-
newspapers and shit, and it's in the middle of the fucking desert, and there's no stops, there's no.
It's going to Westworld, I think.
Right,
I was truly like, is this the Pacific Surfliner? Like, what is
No, but it
this?
looks like it's going to Massapequa or something.
Right, yeah.
It
Right.
seems like it's going to drop everybody off.
It's the Babylon line.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, Amityville, Copiague, Lindenhurst, and Babylon.
But instead, Ford is driving or riding his motorcycle through the train inside, and Cube is on top.
And why, once they got off, didn't they just drive into all that open space?
Yeah.
Why spend so much time on
That's
those
what I'm
tracks?
saying. The second Ford is on top of the train, if I'm Cube, I'm like, I'll just buzz near the train and keep an eye on it. As a matter of fact, I think the motorcycles are faster than the train. Yet they spend so much time on top of it as if it's helpful to them in any way.
It's not. It's not at all. It's a hindrance. It's just spectacle.
And when they are riding on the railroad ties.
Sir, what is your name, the name of your gang?
okay.
And
My gang name is Dr. Jon Gooden. And
DJ G.
no, the railroad tire, like, they're bouncing more than like,
They should not be riding on in between the tracks.
wait,
You're right.
That reminds me, this movie has to let us know, you know there's negative space underneath the train tracks,
Yes.
right? This might be the first featured shot of from underneath train tracks up.
Again, they do really inventive camera work.
The director's like a legendary music video director. He's directed
That
like
makes sense.
some of the
Everything.
top,
Does make
like
sense.
all
If
of
it
your
was,
favorite.
and if you told me all of his directing credits were for Korn, I would believe you.
Well, so
This-
I had to justify this conductor on like some level. So in my mind, I was like, he must know, because I think even when you put those emergency brakes on for a train, it still takes what, a couple miles to stop?
Yes.
At least. So if I'm him, I'm like, if I put the brakes on, I'm gonna have to. There's gonna be a lot of admin around that. A lot of
and I got a bunch of, and all these people got to get to work.
They gotta get to work.
At the Desert Factory.
Yeah.
They gotta get back.
They all work at the Hills Have Eyes mine.
Yeah, I'm sure these guys will move off the tracks at some point.
Gotta. They
Yeah,
gotta.
They gotta, and then they don't.
Your name, your gang name, and your question.
I'm Nina. My gang name would be Stardust Brothers Fan Club.
Okay, I like it. Again, unwieldy names across the board, but
Looks good on a leather vest.
yeah.
You're telling me a How Did This Get Made crowd at Largo can't come up with good biker gang names? Shocking.
All right.
Everybody's is nerdy somehow or misunderstands what the assignment is.
Friends of Grogu.
And none of them have any motorcycle knowledge? Whoa, blown mind.
What is your observation question? What do you have?
I just want to go back to the cave scene. I have a question. So the cave had lights in it, like electrical lights. And my question
It was
is,
someone's home.
right, like, did they?
It's nicer than my house.
The inside of a truck trailer had lights in it too. Like,
Right.
there's no way that would be lit like a living room.
That scene's nuts too.
Right. And did they stumble upon this cave accidentally? Or did they know about this cave's existence and ride there on
They
purpose?
seem to know every nook and cranny
I
of the
know.
Thomas's English muffin that is this desert
Yeah.
landscape.
Remind me, I've been in Phuket. Is the cave still lit?
I would love it to go like, I would love somebody to go in that cave and go down and be like, hostess rapper? Wait a second, were you really in Thailand? It's like, busted. I've been in this cave
I
for
love
6
that.
months.
I love that.
He just smoked $1 million worth of meth in a cave over 6 months.
It felt like
Come on in,
Thailand.
come on in. That's my teeth pile. That's my hair pile.
That would be if he was just like gaunt and sallow and disgusting.
Gotta seize the day. Seize the fucking day. Carpe diem.
Shane.
Carpe diem.
Shane, I miss you. Shane.
Your name, your biker gang name, and your question.
Gabriel.
Got it.
Biker name?
Yeah. Or biker or gang name.
The Mountain Dews.
I like it. There we go.
Someone gets it. See? It's possible.
Real quick. The fight with the Mountain Dew and the Pepsi?
Yeah.
On animatronics? What's going on?
Yeah, well, this is interesting. We talked about this. Like, the bikes are used as an extension of a body, right? And they are, like, bikes are going up against walls. They're
on top of the bikes. They're dancing on the bike. Like, the bikes are doing wheelies. And
real hogheads refer to this as hug foo.
Yeah. It is.
I did write bike foo in my.
I know. I tried like 12 different versions. I was
it is just that. It is Crouching Tiger, but
hidden
on
motorcycle,
bikes.
hidden Kawasaki,
and they're not even like special bikes. They're just like, oh yeah, we normally do. Like, we'll fight on bikes. We'll fight in real life.
And they seem capable.
Yeah.
As if they've done this a million times.
Right.
What about the switch out on the highway when it's like, I'll drive, and he's like, okay, and he's like, gets up.
But that's
jumps in, he gets up out of the car, and he's just like, jumps in.
What's so crazy about the scene that Gabrus is depicting for you is they're carrying on a casual conversation. They're like, okay, so you take her to the thing, and I'll be over here. Okay, cool, that's great. There is such a ease.
One thing that my stepfather taught me was that.
Paul, be careful.
Yarg.
Be careful finishing that sentence.
Make sure you eat your limes.
Is that you need a body to keep the bike upright while in motion. I feel like that is a major part.
You needed to be taught that?
Were you trying to get it to go on its own?
Yeah, these bikes are really like, these bikes can keep on running without anyone on them, and when the weight comes on them, they seem to have like, it's like, oh shit, there's no, like the bikes are
the same with.
Go ahead, sorry.
I said they're unwieldy.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously we have an opinion about this movie, but there are people out there with a different opinion. It is now time for second opinions. Chris, take it away.
Torque is a film about bikes, not cars, stuffing crystal meth into carburetor parts. Ford is coming back from Indochina with a sprocket fingerprint for the FBI now. It's Torque, they fight in bars.
Amazing, thank you, Chris. All right, these Torque reviews are the best. Okay. The average rating is 4 out of 5 stars. There are 2,500 reviews. 75% of them are 5-star reviews. And it starts out like this from Monica Flynn. What I like the most about this movie are the motorcycles.
Well, Monica, you're in fucking luck, babe.
What I liked least about this movie, nothing. It is a great movie from start to finish. 5 stars. Title, the storyline.
Can I just say one thing?
Sorry.
No, I'm sorry, Gabrus. I want to just say one thing about the motorcycles. I'm not into motorcycles, but I didn't feel like they got any, glamour shots in this movie.
Yeah.
Like
Until the fancy one at the end, I totally
just
agree.
That one moment, but it's like in the fast movies, like I get to know each car and what the
and each
special
car
things are.
represents each person.
Yes.
And by the way, I will say, June, that fancy motorcycle, the Jet Turbine Y2K bike that Carrie Ford rides, actually exists and is owned by Jay Leno. Mr. Jay Leno.
Wow.
It's an MTV.
It's made of gasoline.
It is.
No? Is that take too hot? Wait, is Jay here?
Now, to your point, Gabrus, it is actually powered by a Rolls-Royce Allison 250 turboshaft engine commonly used in helicopters.
Jesus, that's where the torque is coming
Now,
from.
but what's crazy, and to June's point, I agree. The Fast and Furious movies, the vehicles have characteristics that are representative of the characters.
I only drive American.
Yeah. And these bikes are just whatever. And they're disposable. People lose bikes,
I will
grab
also
another
say
bike,
that
whatever.
cool bike was an ugly looking bike. It didn't, I was like, ooh.
Ooh, you're going to get a lot of heat from Jay Leno.
Oh, sorry.
It looks like a fucking sex doll.
A lot of heat from Jay Leno.
It's really true. When they pulled that thing off, I was like,
talk about my bike.
This audience loves Leno.
when they pulled that off, I honestly, my first thought when I saw the lines of it, I was like, refrigerator? Like, it
looks like that.
It looked, yeah.
I was like, should I load my dishes into this?
Yes.
You know, Jay Leno doesn't spend any of his Y2K motorcycle money.
Just his stand-up money.
Yeah, just stand-up.
This second review is from Krista T. She writes...
Chrissy Teigen?
Christy T. We'll see, maybe. Husband liked it. I was like, Okay movie, 5 stars.
Wow,
that was Chrissy Teigen. Legend is a huge fan of Torque.
Oh, Legend is a Torque head.
And then...
he's a fan of Peter Torque from the Monkees.
Should we just take 1 second to say...
I have officially lost this audience.
Yeah, you have.
Interesting. I'm not worried about it.
The guy who you think you lost went, yeah. He pretty much went zang. Just to talk about Cube for a second. He's thrilling in this movie, which is, you know, for what it's worth. But the sequence, he's chasing to kill Ford because he believes Ford killed his brother. He's shooting guns at him, chasing, no matter what. He's driving directly against traffic all the way. And when he finally catches up to him on the bridge, he just knocks him off his motorcycle. They've been driving for hundreds of miles on trains, through trains, jumping ravines. When they finally get to the bridge, he's like, and then they get into hand-to-hand after all that.
It's like
it was
a slight
so crazy, too, because the moment at the bridge when Ford doesn't kill Ice Cube or saves him and pulls him up, I was like, oh, finally there's a story here. This is Jean Valjean and Javert. This is something that I can
Please, someone
understand.
make a musical of Torque.
I really was like, oh, he let him go. This is going to be an issue, but he still has to kill him to avenge his brother. Like, the movie started for me.
I got you. This one is written by The Mandrew. The Mandrew writes, this movie has it all. Insane, completely over-the-top action scenes, which, granted, occasionally leave you shaking your head. Great bikes, a little TNA, incredible and well-placed soundtrack, self-deprecating humor, and multiple references to old movies and, well, other movies. I loved it.
Page 2.
Yeah. And frankly, as a sport bike rider, it's so stylized it will give you cavities. It features a healthy dose of all things Hollywood, and not in a bad way. I especially loved how they poke fun at Fast and Furious, and themselves, and the stunts. I just jumped my bike onto a moving train, and then absolutely rocking strains of Jane's Addiction in the opening canyon run, slow-mo, Perry Farrell screaming. And if you're looking for some Oscar-nominated bike movie, then pull your head out of your butt and go rent a French film with Cantonese subtitles to fulfill your lust for all things sophisticated.
Can you reread that?
If you're looking for some Oscar-nominated bike movie, then pull your head out of your butt and go rent a French film with Cantonese subtitles to fulfill your lust for all things sophisticated.
So I mean, you can change the subtitles.
Well, not there.
That person is suggesting change the subtitles from English to Cantonese so that it can be more difficult to understand? From the all those Oscar-nominated bike movies.
I will say this, the budget of this movie, $40 million. Opening weekend, $9 million.
$200 million. 9.
Domestic gross, $21 million.
What year did Fast 1 come out?
2001.
Okay.
This came out in 2004.
Okay.
Okay, it was the top 3 movies of 2004, Shrek 2, Spider-Man 2, Passion of the Christ. Wait, that can't be right. That can't be right.
Fuck. I would love it if someone got fucking crucified in this movie.
This movie
and came back 3 days later.
This movie was beaten by Van Helsing, Catwoman, Sky Captain, and The World of Tomorrow, and
Three
Cellular.
famously good movies.
Yes, that we're all here on the show. And some of the other titles in different countries. Australia, they called it Hard on the Limit. In Estonia.
Whoa. Hard? I really want to unpack that. Hard on the limit?
Yeah, I guess.
Any Aussies in the house? Can anybody explain what that means? Hard on the limit? Oh, no, sorry. I know, sorry.
In Turkey.
That's what you sound like.
We can't explain torque. We can't expect them to explain hard on the limit.
Well, to continue that, in Spain, it was called Rolling to the Limit. In Turkey, it was called Speed Enthusiasts. It was
Can
also
you imagine
called...
if it was called that here and we were right now going to see Speed Enthusiasts 9?
In Hungary, it was called Iron. In Finland, it was called Tap! Exclamation point. And a lot of acceleration. And then this was the one I like from Slovenia, Wild in the Saddle. Now, I told you earlier in the show, I reached out to Adam Scott. Just a second ago, he texted me. From Adam Scott, he writes in, I love Torque. I remember when we were making it, Justina Machado and I, who plays my partner, were sort of off on our own movie, and we kept on saying to each other, this is fucking ridiculous. Is this supposed to be ridiculous? And we decided it was. And then Joseph Kahn, the director, was like, hey guys, this is fucking ridiculous. And we were like, oh, okay, great. And then we were just saying like, all this seems fucking ridiculous. Got it, all right. But then there were some people who seemed super serious about it, which is great. But for that big scene at the end when everyone's there telling each other everything they've been doing for the whole movie, I remember some of the actors doing reps with dumbbells before they called action and thinking that was a bit at first. And then thinking, well, if I had arms like that, I'd probably do that too. I don't know. I loved it. It was so much fun. Ice Cube was fucking cool. Martin Henderson is an awesome guy. And by the way, incredible in X. Jay Hernandez and Will Jun Lee were fucking cool. Monet and Jamie Presley were rad. And that motorcycle battle is Everest. But if only two people ever reach the top. Matt Schultz is so good in this movie. It's insane. And Joseph Kahn took all that money and made something truly bonkers. Viva La Torque.
Yes.
So right from Adam Scott.
I agree.
I will just, everybody just say thank you, Adam, and I'll send it to him. Here we go. Thank you, Adam. All right, there we go. Yeah. All right, I'll send it to him. All right, great. So there we go. That's a first-hand look there. I like that Adam and his partner played it that way because it was a relief when they popped up on screen. They were fun every single time they were there.
Great. They were great. You know,
and a little bit of a window into what the movie, I feel like, could have been.
Yeah.
In a way that was, I do believe, because I really had a blast watching this movie in a way
super fun.
I genuinely was not prepared for. I really thought it was going to be much more of a drag, and I had a blast watching it, so much so that I was like, oh, I wish there was more of these in the Fast and Furious style. This is better than Fast 1, 4, and 2.
But we didn't have Vin Diesel. I really do think
that's
that
true.
It's
nobody
true.
that even approaches it. Like this movie, if you'd stacked it with a cast as good as the Fast movies had, this would be the franchise.
Well, I think what this movie is missing is the gravitas of Vin Diesel in the sense of like family. Like there isn't an emotional
he does
grounding.
Have similar lines. He has absurd lines that fall so flat because he doesn't have that Vin touch.
Well,
that
the
magic
movie,
touch.
I agree also, and I think the Fast and Furious movies have this, and I think probably from Vin, there is an emotional, familial connection between all the cast.
And the cars seem connected to each other emotionally as well.
Doesn't have.
If this movie waited 2 years, they could have tied it in because they all live in LA. It could have been an extension of the Fast world. I still think we could bring an Ice Cube.
What I want is I want Fast 11 just announced. Louis Leterrier back in the saddle. I want Fast 11 to bring some of the Torque-averse into the Fastiverse.
It's right there for the taking, the same producer. But I
think the one thing Torque does better than Fast and the Furious is, and I don't think they do it well here, but they do it better than Fast and the Furious, is this movie's there's no sex in Fast and the Furious. No sexual energy, period.
I agree.
Off of anyone in this.
Wait, what?
There's references.
Are you serious? Are you sure? Are you saying?
No, you're right. It's a
are you
little
saying
everyone's too
Dom and
related.
Letty aren't in love?
Everyone's too related in Fast and the Furious because everyone's
I
like,
agree.
that's actually my cousin's wife, family.
No,
Like,
you're
everyone-
right.
They
You're
meet everyone.
actually my sister. Yeah.
Everyone's
It's
a
much
sister-in-law.
more about family in that sense. You're right.
Here there's like some steaminess. Like I will say, the kiss between Ford and Shane before he gets out of the car, that is like an awkward level of making out.
Or the kiss when they're driving and they are hardcore making out like,
and he's in 6th gear. Yeah.
They're cutting to his feet. They're cutting to his hands. They know they're weaving in and out of traffic.
Could you?
Torque,
This is how
these people finger each other. That's what you get from this movie. They are a little
That's
bit.
why you get Dane Cook in the movie.
Super
The shocker,
finger.
baby. The shocker.
I think we all agree that we recommend this film on some level. And John, I want to give you a chance to talk about anything you want to tell everybody to check out.
Yeah, I have a movie podcast called Action Boys.
Woo!
Thank you. Jason's a listener. Yeah, just these
I
six guys
cannot
are.
recommend this podcast
It's so
enough.
good.
It is fantastic.
Thank you, guys. That means a lot. I've been listening to your movie podcast for decades now. That's awesome. It's
How did we get so old?
I don't. Okay, so I saw someone post on my Twitter the other day, and they tagged me, which was so hurtful. And it said something like, "I used to listen to How Did This Get Made?" that podcast in high school, and it took my breath away. It took my breath.
I'm curious. Did anybody
It's
here
brutal.
start listening in high school? Good.
Yeah, good.
Thank God.
Yeah, those people did not finish high school and make it to LA.
Only the old heads are here.
Only the people with the financial security to rent Torque.
$2.99, no problem.
I'm a childless 40-year-old. You got it.
Of course I can go to 3 shows at Largo in a week.
I'll call in sick so I can watch the movies every day to really enjoy it.
All right. Thank you, John. Listen to the podcast. It's so fun.
Wait, High and Mighty as well, Gabe.
Oh, High and Mighty. I also have a chat show podcast that is less about movies, but yeah, that one's free and easier to get access to. So thank you, guys. Check that out. Yeah. 101 Place. Yeah, thank you guys. Shout out my plugs. Thank you.
I've shouted this show out a lot on this podcast, and I will do it again for you, Gabrus. Gabrus and Pally, the show is 101 Places to Party Before You Die. It's on True TV, which is now on HBO Max, also known as Max.
Get on your Max.
I think you could watch it in any hospital waiting room. So do yourself a favor, get a concussion and check it out.
Or if you have a peg leg and you're getting the surgery to cover up the peg leg, it's a great show. You can binge it
Does
out.
anyone have a peg leg we want to trick Paul into touching real quick?
I'll touch anybody's peg leg to see. I never really believed it, and now, now I think I was pretty smart.
I feel like you're going to get a lot of emails that is like, peg leg is not the right term.
You're going to
That
get
was
one
what
parrot.
I was told. That was what I was told. Anyway, thank you all for coming to night one of How Did This Get Made?
Thank you.
The show may be over, but it continues next week on Last Looks. That's right. We want you to join us on Last Looks to tell us all the things that we might have messed up, that we might have gotten wrong, and you get a chance to prove that you are better than us. You can do that very simply by going to our Discord at discord.gg/HDTGM, or you can call me at 619-PAUL-ASK. I also run a very impromptu advice line. So if you have any problems, I am there to solve them. Normally, I'm joined by Jason on Last Looks, so tune into Last Looks to hear interviews with some of our great past guests, some deleted scenes, and so much more, including what we're watching next week. You know what? If you're a big How Did This Get Made fan, that means you must have some merch. And if you need our merch, go to tpublic.com/stores/HDTGM. That's TEE public.com. You can find us online everywhere. And
any kind of social platform at HDTGM. And if you really just want to go old school, check out our website at hdtgm.com that has links to everything you could possibly imagine. But this show, what you're listening to right here, couldn't be done without a couple of things. First of all, you listening, but more importantly, I'm talking about the amazing producerial work of Scott Sonny, Molly Reynolds, and our movie-picking producer, Avril Halley, our engineer, Alex Gonzalez, and our publisher, July Diaz. People, they make the trains run, and we love them. So we will see you next week for Last Looks, and until then, bye for now.